weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
What's going on, guys? It's Country with Celine. I am back, and joining me today is Walker Montgomery.
She don't know I lay beside her late at night and wonder why she'd settle for a guy like me, that I can't live without. It dreamed about her way before I ever found her, made a better man out of me.
Walker, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just got off the golf course and talking to you now. So I appreciate you having me on.
Looking like a dad, just like you said before. Walker, before we get things started, I want to ask you a very, very, very serious question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you study up on your Canadian geography?
I didn't, but when I first talked to you, I did okay.
You did okay.
Well, I did better on naming the teams. That was my strong suit, but the geography I still have a little bit to learn.
You know what? I actually forgot that we did the Canadian hockey teams. I completely forgot about that one. I'm glad you remembered. But the geography one was fun. It's fun. I mean, it's always like if you tested me on American geography, I would no chance.
I think most Americans wouldn't get American geography, unfortunately.
How many states are there? There's like 52.
There's 50 states, and I think
states.
there's 2 territories, I believe.
Oh, you guys have territories too. See, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had no idea. Okay, well, anyways, let's put all that history, geography aside because that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about music. Now, you dropped your latest EP back in the end of September titled Work to Do. So take me through the whole project. Favorite song, least favorite song, most interesting story behind one of the songs. I want to know it all.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't released any kind of music in over a year by the time that the EP at Work to Do had come out. And for whatever reason, that just happened. I was so focused on being on the road last year that it just kind of it just happened. And we kind of looked up and it was 2023, and I was like, oh my God, I need to release some songs. But it was definitely a kind of a rebrand, so to say, but it was definitely more of what I believe my style of music is. It was leaning hard into the traditional sense of things. And I got a new producer in Bart Butler who does John Party, Warren Ziders, and a bunch of other folks. And it was just a really good time. It's always fun to go into the studio, but having Bart in there was a real pleasure. But it's definitely my favorite EP that I've released so far. We've got 6 songs on it, 2 songs that I wrote, and then 4 outside songs. But it's been good. It's been received well, it seems like, and it was a lot of fun making.
What's your favorite song on that album?
My favorite song on that album is definitely "Tired of You." I think that's probably my favorite song that I've ever recorded, to be honest with you. But it's just, I mean, I really wish I would have written it. It's such a simple song, but the first time that I heard it, I didn't even finish listening to the song. I about halfway through, I logged out of it and I texted Bart back and I said, "Yep, that's the one right there." It's definitely my favorite, and it's just a beautifully written song.
I love that song too. I was gonna add on that my favorite song off of that was "Tired of You."
Good.
It brings me back. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a fan of "She Don't Know." Do you remember that song that you released? What was it? 2015. I swear it was a while.
No, that was 2020, and that was
2020.
That was a song that at the time I didn't even know if we should release it because it was COVID and everything, and but it turned out it's my number 1 streaming song. It's got over 20 million streams worldwide over all platforms. So I was very lucky to be able to cut that one.
Yeah, especially you're taking a gamble too, because during COVID it was such a awkward period of time for artists to, do I release something? Do I not release it? The world is on pause. Like, what do I do? But clearly you picked the right choice. I mean, 20 million streams on every platform. Congratulations on that. That's a huge accomplishment.
We got lucky, and we got some really good New Boots playlists on Spotify and some good Apple Music playlists and stuff. So that song treated me real well.
Awesome. That's amazing. And now I want to kind of move forward. Like, I understand you just released this, but I'm always wanting to know, are you in the works with something else? Is there a new song coming out? Like, maybe not right now, but the beginning of next year? Like, what's going on with that?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going back into the studio November 17th. First of all, we're gonna cut probably six more. I'm going in with Bart again, Bart Butler, and it's if you thought these last six were country, we're going even deeper into it. But we're gonna release just because Christmas time's hard, once November rolls around and December rolls around, it seems like Nashville just kind of shuts down. And you either release a Christmas song or you don't. But we're going to release some acoustic versions of "Time Stood Still," which is a song off the EP, and "Tired of You." So we'll have something to kind of keep the ball rolling. But we've got some good stuff planned in 2024. We're going to do a lot of stuff involving Texas. Let's just say that it's gonna be a good time doing a lot of shows down there, and got some artist buddies who might hop on a song or two with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, actually, speaking of that, who would you say would be a dream collab of yours?
Oh, good Lord. I mean, I love them. I love them all. There's John Wolf is a great one. Randy Rogers, uh, Wink Wink is a good one too.
Wink, wink.
That's going to be. I mean, obviously he's a legend, but uh, we got some stuff in the works. Hopefully, but Wade Bowen's great too. Aaron Watson, and luckily just through the business, we had some similar connections. With some Texas folks. So there's a bunch of folks down there that I'd like to work with.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, that's awesome.
Mhm.
And so, how about performing shows? Did you just say like majority of them are going to be in Texas? Anywhere else in the states? You think that
I
anything?
don't know. I don't know if a majority of them will be in Texas, but we're definitely going to make a big push in Texas. It's I love it down there, and our music lines up with it. But we're going to do a bunch of stuff out of Texas as well, and as we always have. Kentucky's home base for me. I'm from Kentucky. Uh, we do really well in Kentucky, luckily, and I love going back home as well. So that's always a good match and a good little marriage right there. But we'll be doing stuff in the Southeast. We went out west for the first time this past year. We went out to Reno, Nevada, and then we did where did we go? We went somewhere in California. I can't Sacramento, I believe. But so we're going all over the place. And I'll tell you what, a good place that we're going to try to go to is the Northeast. And the Northeast, New England area, they love country music, and it seems like they're just starved for it. But when you go up there and do a show, they show out. I love it up there too.
I never would have thought that
Hmm.
they
Oh,
were
they
like
go
country
crazy for it.
loving. That's
Hmm.
crazy. Oh, awesome. Well, how about Northwest Seattle? Any
Northwest.
shows out there?
We've never. I saw you just went to the Seattle Seahawks game.
I did. I
Uh,
moved to Vancouver, so I'm right over
yeah,
here.
right. Well, I went to Seattle for the first time the other day, and I only spent time in the airport. But flying in, I mean, it's just gorgeous to tell you what. But we'll do some stuff in the Northeast. We'll try to, you know how it is. I mean, you always try to get a run or something, so you're not doing a show in Georgia one day and then having to fly to Washington the next day to do a show. Hopefully we'll get some Western states in a little run during next year and be able to go out there.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Hmm.
And you just kind of mentioned Christmas. Christmas is right around the
Hmm.
corner. And yes, Nashville does shut down. I've heard that from a lot of different artists.
Yeah.
It's quite funny that even you verified that too. But how about a Christmas song? Like, has that ever been a thought in your mind to release like a country Christmas
Yeah.
song?
Absolutely. Dad did a record called Mr. Snowman back in the day. I think it was 2002 or something like that, maybe even 2000. That he actually recorded it. He built a little studio in our house, and Madison, my sister, and I. Of course, I was probably 3, 4 years old at the time, and we actually sang on a little song, with him on it. But I love Christmas music. I know that might be an unpopular opinion for some, but I mean, once November rolls around, I'm good. I'm good to listen to it. But yeah, I'd love to do a Christmas song or a Christmas record down the road. I don't know if now's the right time, but it's definitely an option.
Hey, as long as we know that you're thinking of it,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. It will come. Eventually, it will come. Christmas is the best time of the year, and I don't blame you for wanting
Mhm.
to listen to country music the beginning of November. I start listening to
Mhm.
it the beginning of October. Like you can't go
There's
wrong
no
with this.
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Once this
Mhm.
Well, actually, this is going to sound probably a really stupid question, and I'm so sorry for this, but does it, this is going to sound so stupid, does it snow over there, like in
It
Kentucky or like in Nashville? I sound so stupid. I'm so sorry, but does it? I'm just curious.
it snows very mildly.
Okay.
Let's just say that it'll snow a lot of ice. That's what we
Okay.
get. We get a lot of ice. But yeah, but when it does snow, it's 1 to 2, 3 inches, and
Okay.
but it's all I mean, it's always pretty. You got the mountains and stuff around here, but nothing like what you're used to.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
I was curious because Christmas, you think snow. That's just how it
yeah.
always has been. And for me in Vancouver, there's gonna be
Mhm.
like no snow. So I'm like, that's such a transition. How do you get in
Yeah,
a Christmas spirit when there's no snow? Because snow is
yeah.
Christmas, you know?
I'm with you. If it's gonna be cold outside, I'd like to have a little snow pouring
Right?
down.
If you have to.
Mhm,
And so your father, you kind of just said dad. So to you,
mhm.
obviously, he's your dad. But to people who don't know, your father's John Michael Montgomery,
Yeah.
a well-known country singer. I mean, I even told you before, like a month ago or so, your dad's song was my parents' wedding song. I
Mhm,
mean, so my mother grew up listening to your dad all the time, and you
mhm,
were kind of talking about collaborations, and you just mentioned too that you sang with on a song when you were a child with your dad.
mhm.
Have you thought about getting your dad to hop on a song with you now?
One of these days it'll happen, and it has to be the right song. It has to be the right timing, and we'd also like to get Eddie, my uncle, Eddie Montgomery and Montgomery Gentry, on one too. So hopefully one of these days, sooner rather than later, it'll happen. But it definitely nothing's in the works right now, but it'll definitely happen one of these days. And when it does, it'll be good. When we do, we have a very non musical relationship, dad and me, and same with Eddie. We just never talk about music hardly. It's not quote unquote the most important thing in our relationship. Dad is just dad to me,
Hmm.
and same with Eddie. Uncle Eddie is just Uncle Eddie to me. But obviously, they're there for any kind of advice if I need something, but mainly if I need advice, it's more like life advice, and nothing really to do with the industry. So if we did a song together, it would be more of just to have it as a family heirloom or something like that. But obviously we'd want it to do well, but we'd have it just for the memories of being able to go into the studio and doing something that a lot of families don't really get to do, and we're definitely in a unique situation when it comes to that. But it'll happen one of these days.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure
Mhm.
lots of people will be looking forward to that. But so coming from a musical family, did you know when you were younger, because I'm sure your father was playing
Mhm.
instruments and singing around you. Did you know that you wanted to kind of grow up to be a country singer like your dad, or was it something that you never really thought of until later in life? Like, how did that all happen?
Yeah.
Because you were surrounded by it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, every other weekend it seems like we'd be on the tour bus going on the road and stuff, and that's why going on the road to me is so important, just because it's really all I know. I mean, it's just all I've ever done, and it's just the way it's my way of life. It always has been. But I didn't really know until about sophomore year of high school, maybe junior year of high school, and it just kind of hit me all at once. To be honest with you, I was playing sports and I was doing choir. I mean, the choir was really the extent of my musical life back then. But once I started really taking it seriously, picking up the guitar and going out and playing little honky tonks and restaurant bars around central Kentucky, that's when I started really taking it seriously. So it was later on in life, compared to some people. I'd say, I wasn't 8, 9, 10 years old sitting in my room picking on a guitar. It never it's not that it didn't interest me. I just had other things going on. I wanted to go outside, play football, play
Yeah.
basketball, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Of course, like being a kid, you want to play sports, you want to do other things. You
Yeah.
don't, some of them, yes, they want to sit in a room and play guitar, but majority of
Mhm.
kids don't want to do that. They want to be outside, they want to be active. But releasing your first body of work, did you sort of feel any pressure? Like were you nervous to release it coming from such a musical family?
You know, I've never felt pressure, and I think that's a testament to Dad and Eddie, having making sure that the number one thing in our relationship wasn't music. I think that Dad knew that the pressure would not be good if that was such a big part of our relationship. And I think even growing up, he knew that. So he did his best to and he did a really good job at it to just be Dad. And same with Eddie. I've never felt any pressure. Obviously, there's just everybody say you got some big shoes to fill and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know, that's always something that people say, and to an extent that's true. Uh, but look, I mean, I've never tried to shy away from what Dad and Eddie done. I mean, Dad he had some great songs, and he wasn't a flash in the pan. You know, he was a established country music star, and he was able to do something that a lot of people didn't do. And so I'm proud of what he was able to do, and I'm proud of what the Montgomery name's been able to do in country music. But he never put pressure on me. He never said, "Hey man, you better make it." You know, he never pushed me to do it. In fact, I think especially when I was kind of 18, 19 years old, going to college and stuff, I think that he really wanted me to do that instead of go straight into Nashville and do music. And but once I caught the bug, I think he knew that there was no stopping it.
What did you go to college for?
I went to college for 9 weeks. So
Oh my gosh.
I was a communications major, and but I only signed up for like history classes that semester. So I don't really know. I mean, I went to college to go join a fraternity. That's what I went for.
Oh my
But
God.
but yeah, no, look, I mean, it was a good time. I'm glad that I did it because I know that I'd be kind of wondering what it would be like nowadays. But it wasn't for me at the time, and I had a song called "Simple Town" that kind of got on local radio stations and stuff, and after that, I was like, yeah, well, I can always come back to college, but if the momentum's there at the time, I knew I had to go take the chance.
No, for sure. And you don't want to live a life with of what if? What if I did
Yeah.
that? What if I did that? And to go to college just for like the kind of frat about it, I feel like
Mhm.
majority of people want to go to college just for that. I wish I was American just to go to college for that. I would have joined a
Yeah.
sorority. I would have blended in with all like the blonde girls down there.
You would have been a great sorority girl.
It
Yeah.
would have been, oh, if only. But see that I that's a what if. That is a what if. But that's a
Mhm.
strong what if on my end.
It was a good time. I'm glad that I was able to do it. I in UK, University of Kentucky, where I went. It was a great place. And of course, I grew up 30 minutes south of Lexington, where the university is. So it had a feeling of home and had a sense of home, but it was still far away enough to go. I was living in a dorm and stuff like that. It was first time being alone. It was a good time in my life. I remember it fondly, actually.
Yeah. College days are always a good time. You always remember your
Yeah,
college days, even your high school days, you always sort of
yeah,
remember those. But
yeah.
clearly you made the right choice. And I mean, you are an established country music singer yourself. And it's quite cool too, how people who listen to your dad or your uncle are now listening to you as well. So it's like you're keeping the tradition
Mhm.
going in your family. And when you eventually have a child, do you think that well, we're talking down the
Well,
line. So like
yeah,
eventually, because we're the same age here. So I'm not even
yeah.
thinking of having a kid right now. But do you think that like with your kid, if comes out and says he wants to do country music, like how would that make you feel? I feel that that'd be such a like an honor in a way too at the same time. Or would you not want him
Yeah.
to get involved in
I be honest with you, I haven't even thought about it.
that?
It's not on my mind. I mean, look, I know one day down the line I'm gonna be married and have kids and stuff like that, and that's the reason that I do. I mean, obviously, I love music, but that's the reason that I do music is because I had such a good childhood growing up. I mean, it was just the best. and I had fantastic parents. Obviously, from the outside looking in, it was a unique lifestyle, but to me, it was just life. It was how Dad worked on the weekends instead of working on the weekdays. So I feel like country music is my opportunity to give them the lifestyle and the way of growing up that I had. And I was so blessed to have great parents and a farm to go mess around on and get in a creek, go get stuck and do whatever. So I feel like country music is my way of doing that. But I haven't even given thought about if the offspring would would go into country music. Yeah.
You got a long time before we can think about that. But before I let you go, Walker, what's your favorite thing about country music?
The shows. It's without a doubt. And being able to go out and do shows. And you mentioned kind of keeping the family name alive or whatever. We just got back from Texas. Actually, we did a show we were on the road with Priscilla Block, who's amazing, by the way. I'd met her in passing and stuff, but I'd never gone out on the road with her. So this is our first little run with her. And she is one of the hardest working people that you have ever laid eyes on. It's pretty amazing what she's been able to build and just a fan base that is not going away. She's a really impressive person, I'll tell you what. And she's just a great person as well. But we were in venues, Texas Club in Baton Rouge, and then Bonita Creek Hall in Nacogdoches, Texas. And both of those venues had been venues that Dad had played. And doing stuff like that is always fun. But going out on the road and being able to play music to whether it's 5 people or 5,000, it doesn't matter to me. It's always the biggest upside of being in country music. There's nothing like it.
There is nothing like it. And what would you say to people who don't like country music? Listen to it. No. You should say listen to it. You're missing out.
I grew up in it. I just grew up in it. It was my life. Country music was what paid the bills and put the food on the table. So I'm always grateful to country music. I think it's the best thing in the world. I'd say give it a chance to people who haven't listened to it. But music to me is always just what makes you feel at home. And for me, country music makes me feel at home. And it's really just all I listen to. I don't listen to rap. I don't listen to rock and roll or anything just because I don't relate to it, but I relate to country music. And that's what it is for me. So it's something special. I'll tell you that much.
It is. And I can say this, country music is the best genre out there.
I agree with you.
Hands down. I'll say it for you. Yeah. I know you're thinking it. I'll say it
I agree with it. I agree with you.
Well, thank you so much, Walker, for joining me today on Country with Celine. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Next time I'll be dressed like an artist. I won't get off the golf course,
Sounds good.
Oh, she don't even know she's perfect. All her love, I don't deserve it. She could have any heart she wants to hold. Oh, but she don't know. She's perfect. Her love, I don't deserve it, but she don't know. She don't know.